Hi, friends. It's me, host Eric. I'm here with host Taylor, host Nick, host Audra. We are in TWFP2, appear.in/TWFP2, and we're streaming tonight about discourse and streaming and talking and being ENTPs who are engaged in a lot of word makings. Now, as a disclaimer, it should be said that we are all not at optimal functioning. ENTPs are very much subject to varying degrees of optimality, sometimes being,
How varying, Eric?
well, it can go all the way from sleeping all the time to crying all the time to doing nothing to getting all kinds of shit accomplished. And you never know. In this instance, we were talking earlier before we started the stream about TI being subject to erosion under varying circumstances. So for me, I know TI, my brain slows down for sure, and everything becomes harder when I have too little sleep. And if I've been up for a long time and I smoke a bowl, then I really stop. I start to lose the ability to speak fluidly, and when that goes, you're. It's just you got not much left because you got to go to bed pretty soon because you can't even talk anymore.
Now I've noticed occasionally this happens, but you seem to, based on what you said the other day, like, that I had gotten 3 hours of sleep within the last 48 hours or something. You'd be like, Nick, now you're about to get shit done. Is there a time where, um, maybe if you've had a fair amount of sleep for a couple weeks, where you go through a bit of sleep deprivation, and maybe it's coming out of sleep a week or something, where like one day at least no sleep is optimal or
Yeah, for
something?
sure. I mean,
Why do you think that is?
well, you gotta. Brain is stubborn. Brain is a stubborn thing. It it's stubborn and it's yeah. It's got they there are these little guys in your brain that hold up certain uh, bobsled courses. Okay, and the reason they hold them up is because they want to make sure that you go inside the bobsled course. Because if you go flying off the side of the bobsled course, then who knows where you're gonna land, right? So these guys, they hold it up and they make it fold up the edges so you stay in the bobsled course. But you want those guys to go away when you're making let your shit fly off the bobsled course. And in order to do that, well, you can't really control them. But they have a limited amount of energy, and they get weaker if you don't sleep. And so eventually, you're like just shit's coming at you with no. They just are all like saying fuck it, just whatever happens happens. I guess we're gonna go all sit over here, and the bobsled courses are all down, and just fucking bobsleds are rolling all over the place. Snow is piling up in different places. Spectators getting run over. That's when the good stuff happens. That's when your brain produces the most disparate of connections and the most cool insights or something.
That makes good enough sense to me, that's for sure.
I agree with that. My
So
best writing, I totally don't even remember I did it. It was late some night when I
you're
should have been
very
sleeping.
subdued. Now, we in Audra and Taylor, you've got two of the TI subtypes of ENTP. I think, even though Audra displays in a lot of ways like an NE subtype, socially at least, you display a lot more like Taylor than you do like me or Nick, both of whom are
Yeah,
fairly
I would.
active.
I would agree with that.
So,
I'm pretty sure I'm a TI subcon.
does more
We're
talkative
in.
make you more open up?
Like socially,
Yeah, does it make you talk more?
yeah.
I've definitely noticed that with Taylor.
Hmm.
He talks more when he's tired.
I don't know. I noticed it one night. I'm not. That's not enough to really gain too much perspective on.
This is the face of an ENTP doing TE shit.
Oh man.
I know.
Yeah, it's not fun. So, what you see in Taylor tonight is some of the range of the ENTP that we have to live through, which is sometimes we're in a super good mood, and sometimes we're in a tired mood, and sometimes we're in a fussy mood. Sometimes I'm being fussy. I mean, Taylor's always quick to call it out when I'm being fussy. Going back a little bit to
You were really fussy earlier.
was I when?
Uh, before you and Craig Ace went into that room, you came on. You had just turned your phone on or whatever, and you needed a binky and a blankie.
Did I?
What got you out of that, Eric?
I don't even remember that being in a mood. I don't remember it. I believe it, but oh, it's because of the Muslim shit or what?
No, it's because your phone or AT&T. I assume that was it. I don't know.
Oh,
See, when you say the various moods of ENTPs, well, I assume all types go through moods. But to be specific, ENTPs can shift dramatically and very quickly, and to where they can do exactly what Eric just said. Where was I?
we don't remember our emotional states. I don't remember mine. It's rather like physical pain in that regard, even though I know that emotional pain is not like physical pain in that you can remember the specific set of circumstances in which you felt something strongly and you can feel that thing again emotionally. You can't do that with physical pain. Remembering when I broke my hand doesn't make my hand hurt again. But if I remember when my dog died, it'll make me sad again. So I know that
I don't remember that.
it's possible to experience emotions again like that over time, but unlike other types, I don't think it stays with me really as part of a layering bunch of sediment of emotions that filters down to the bottom of one's soul and builds up over the course of a lifetime.
Wow! Whoa!
I didn't hear that, but it sounded profound.
It was very profound for sure.
Did something filter the bottom of a soul? Is that what I heard?
Repeatable. That's repeat. That's repeat worthy.
All right, well, I don't know if I can repeat it exactly, but the gist of it is just that
The gist of it. That was good.
uh, that
Hey, it's
that ENTPs don't experience. We may experience emotions over time. That it's possible for me to remember what I felt like when I picture the circumstances of finding my dog's dead body, and to experience that pain again. Whereas with physical pain, you can't re-experience it by remembering it. I can't remember breaking my hand and feel my hand hurt again. And I think that because of our limited ability, though, to experience emotions again over time, namely that I have to intentionally draw up into my mind that set of memories and then I will experience those emotions again, but it's obviously not something I'm going to seek very often because it's a bad emotion. And I don't spend a lot of time in SI anyway. So my point was, and the way I expressed it was that as ENTPs, I don't remember exactly how I said it, but it's on.
okay. You said I can recreate the set of circumstances in my mind, and then understand the emotion associated with that. But it doesn't filter in and then gather sediments like more the feeling types where it builds up over time and creates
Right.
something
Yeah, something like that.
in their
Yeah.
soul or something.
Yeah. It doesn't filter. It doesn't filter to the bottom of the soul and pile up as layers of sediment over time over the course of a lifetime, which is I think what it does for introverted feelers. That's why introverted feelers don't care about dying. They don't say I'm scared of death. They say I wouldn't want to live forever. Why? Because they're carrying around the built up emotional baggage of the various injuries, sufferings, positive stuff too, but it seems to be less weighty. The negative emotions are the ones that we remember and have to process and deal with. The positive emotions, I suspect if you're an SI Dom and you'll have FI then in a decent spot maybe, then um, you probably have a decent way of going about re-experiencing your emotions and stuff and carrying them around. And I know Candace did. So, yeah. But of course, without that weight, the problem for ENTPs is we don't really feel like people in the world sometimes. We feel removed from the world, removed from those around us, removed from the shit we're doing, removed from our beliefs, removed from our emotions, removed from our relationships. We feel untethered, and to the extent that we are whole, we've got to be both rooted in some metaphysical identity that we can count on, and also rooted geographically. We've got to feel rooted in our SI familiarities. And if we can attain all that, then we start to feel a little bit more solid. But our instinct always is to take our attention away from the moment, our bodies, and ourselves and place it elsewhere. Thoughts?
Um, no, I agree. And
Yeah.
for people in chat or who's watching this live, I'll be checking it periodically if you want to ask some questions or fucking.
I see. I've got this thing open now. It says five people are watching. Elsie says frog. Frog right back at you, Elsie. Frog right back at you.
Taylor, did you see the picture that Elsie posted? She was in a store or something and saw some coffee that was Taylor coffee.
Taylor Coffee.
There's a lot
Wait,
of Taylor shit in the world. Taylor's a common name on products and such. Taylor could populate his entire house with various Taylor themed products, stores, and street signs and whatnot.
that's illegal.
I'm assuming the city donated them to you.
They do that time to time.
Yeah. And it's part of the Yaylorian appreciation movement that's gathering around Pratt, Kansas.
It's gathering momentum, that's for sure.
As the people have come to understand that Yaylorian miracles have already occurred in their hometown, namely the Immaculate Conception of the Sexy Hat was an important moment.
That's pretty critical.
Yeah. The arrival of the the arrival of the opened package with all the stuff still in it. Another miracle. Yeah. So I mean, that's the thing. Miracles happen every day, all around us, constantly, and we owe it all to Yaylor and Yaylorianism.
Wild. How would be my name?
Well, I never thought I'd really get into a religion. I didn't think any of the religions were gonna have enough to offer me as a God-fearing atheist to attract me as an adherent. I was wrong. It turned out Yaylorianism brought into my life the ability to be archpastor and wear a super cool hat.
And
So,
sobriety.
well, Yaylorianism didn't bring about that.
That was Yaylor.
Oh, that was Yaylor. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, Yaylor. Thanks for helping me quit drinking like that with your magic. Appreciate
That's
it.
what I do.
So anyway, yeah, I think Yaylor said, "All right, you can't handle that one." But you know what? I have a feeling that Yaylor did that with a certain amount of weary frustration. He'd probably been sitting there going, "You've had how many years to figure this shit out? You still aren't drinking properly. What the fuck is wrong with you?" Eventually, he gave up. So I can't waste that resource.
How do you research a topic without making someone's opinion your own? You try and argue against every side of it. Joker.
Um,
That's a question on the in the comment.
okay, well, the answer is I try to figure out what any given position's utility is as an argument. So it might be I figure out every possible angle against it or something. But if somebody's writing an opinion piece that's advocating something specifically, and it's providing warrants or reasons why, well, I mean, I'll try to understand it first on a summary kind of level. What is actually being advocated, if anything? Is he just musing, or is there an actual advocacy here? If there's an actual advocacy, it'll be something like the United States should take a hard line on Iran or something like that. And then I will look at the various arguments in this person's being made. The thing is, I don't really have to worry about taking opinions on as my own because there's a very good chance that whatever it is I'm reading, I know all the arguments on that issue already. As a debate coach, I have a unique advantage in that regard, which is I've got to actually find and prep out arguments on shit all the time. So, um, I probably already heard them. If I do hear a new argument, I think it's a strong argument. I only evaluate it in terms of its strength as a debate argument anyway. I'm not. I don't really have any opinions on anything. It's not like I care really what the policy is as long as it doesn't affect me. Uh, I have my principled opinion, and I will vote with it and try to make that happen to the extent that it's not too much of a hassle. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to waste my energy carrying that shit that I have no control over. That's what it boils down to. And I don't have any control over, like, okay, I might I might make all those arguments about Muslims and Islam that I did earlier on the immigration thing, but I don't actually care. I mean, if I saw there's a mosque right over here that I stopped to get tacos or a burrito actually I got at the taco truck that was parked right outside the St. Gabriel Mosque. And I kind of looked at the mosque and I didn't really think anything. I didn't see any Muslims going in there. If I had, I wouldn't have like scolded them or anything. I wouldn't have assumed I was in danger. I certainly don't think Muslims, by and large, are dangerous. I just think that their ideology is fucked up, you know? But whatever, it's just a position anyway.
That's funny. um, I think you just ask yourself, am I attached to one am I attached to this being the truth or what ought to be right? More so than the actual rightness of it. Is what I say the short answer to that direct question. I like what Eric said better, but
I want to answer Neptune's question. It
what
says,
was that too?
is your ability to argue remove the magic from things at all? Or are you just more selective than most people about which magic you believe in? Number one, no. It's allowed me to have magic. If I were a weaker arguer, I wouldn't be able to have magic. I have to be able to defend it. I have to be able to argue the meta framework. And so,
Maybe if you weren't so good of an arguer, you'd be maybe sexier or something. You'd have magic in it.
I'd be a lot more logical. Now, the other thing is, I'm more selective than most people about which magic you believe in. No, I'm not very selective, but I'm directive about which magic I believe in. But I believe in lots of different magics temporarily for this purpose of that. I have a lot of magical thinking actually, because it's just as good as any other methodology of attaining an outcome or a decision for certain kinds of things. And in fact, magic seems an inevitable consequence of meaning making, of extroverted intuition. The other thing here is magic is something that ever trumped logic for me. Yeah, sure. I mean, happened as recently as Helen. Um,
And for people that may be listening to this stream or something who's never been here, what do you mean by what does magical thinking mean to you? Because I think
okay.
Neptune, but
Well, magical thinking means behaving as though, with the right metaphysical constructions, the physical world follows the lead of the metaphysical world, so that you can construct meanings in such a way that, from a distance even, and indirectly, you can cause reality to get out of your way. So, when there are realities you don't like, elements of a situation you need to get around, and or outcomes you want, you can't exactly plan it. You got to link it. So you keep in mind the shit you want to attain, and that causes you to link new meanings to that. As these linked meanings start to build, and you're engaging in discourse with people and sharing the linked meanings, unbeknownst to people, the the scaffolding, which is misty at first, and people can walk right through, without really realizing, people start climbing up the scaffolding and it solidifies. And so pretty soon they start building shit on the scaffolding, and you've accomplished um, what you might call a framing spell, where the understanding of the understanding of all the specifics is colored through your framing, to the extent that people don't even understand that they're colored through your framing. Like, for example, a perfect example of this is somebody was the other day saying to me, or maybe it was even more recently than that, was trying to like taunt me a little bit or something, because, I mean, just for case, just for fun or whatever, was saying, well, you're just a clergyman in a religion, you know, really, basically, Taylor's more important than you, like, which is fine.
it's better than being the archbishop's assistant.
Archpastor, Nick, archpastor.
No, you said archbishop. Bishop.
It's changed.
No.
It's changed, and it's rewritten history so that it never was the other way.
Oh,
Hmm.
that
So
magical thinking.
that means you've got a bad memory, my friend. Bad memory. So yeah, that's an example of it's an example of exactly what I'm saying. That I don't want to explain it any further, but you know what I'm saying. I think a lot of people around here do understand exactly what I mean, because they get it. It's we got a lot of smart intuitives around here, and there's a certain it's a big meta artwork that hopes to subsume a lot of other shit within under its general umbrella for the purpose of doing that thing I was saying with the scaffoldings.
Creating a cult, aka.
No, it's
What's
it's
wrong
a
with a cult?
it's a big framing spell, which means it's it's a discourse K of art as art project. By what I mean by that is like the the notion is that it's a merit based thing, merit based detachment and discourse kind of thing, or it's a lot of different things. But the point being that it involves people to people don't necessarily understand that when they're utilizing the methodologies to critique me and what I'm doing or saying, they are doing what is hoped they will do. It's like that's the whole. That means they're successfully executing their part in the larger framing, but they see themselves outside of it, critiquing it. See what I mean?
Kinda, not really.
Audra, Audra, you know what I'm talking about? Neptune, you know what I'm talking about? Who's gonna show me her boobs?
What was the question? I was distracted.
Oh, I was just saying that that people don't necessarily understand that when they use the mechanisms or modalities of this thing to critique this thing, they imagine themselves sort of outside of the framing, critiquing it, and they don't understand that they're critiquing from within. That it's subsumed their critique.
Oh, that's nice. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't critique it with its own.
Well done. And
Like it.
I'm wondering if
But the thing is, I forget it too. And then people say shit like that to me about your Lorianism, and I get like, hey, and I go, Eric, remember, it's supposed to be like that.
it's supposed to.
That means it's working. Don't let it work on you too.
What?
I mean, I'm so accustomed to just being. I function within the system as well as being somewhat like outside of it slightly. I mean, I'm more outside of it than anybody else, but I'm still mostly inside of it, and forget that I'm supposed to be managing the stadium, and I keep playing the game, right? But I keep forgetting it doesn't matter to me who wins on the playing field because I'm the stadium owner and I'm getting the money from the tickets. It's like that. I always forget it, And not that I'm making any money. I'm paying people to come to the game right now, functionally. But the point being, that's the meta framework that I always forget and that other people do as well, and that means it's working. I think I probably underestimate the extent to which people afford me authority and or clout. Some people. I think that I could probably successfully sell those assessment things like I was doing for Homie today, for a decent amount of money if people wanted to do that. I mean, I think it's weird to even position it as possible, but that's what I'm getting at when I say, well, ENTPs don't know how other people feel about us in general. I I know whether a piece of media is working well or is likely to work well or not, how a group or set of individuals is likely to react to something some of the time. But what I don't know, I don't get how other people feel about me. And I don't think you guys get how other people feel about you either.
As evidenced in our prior conversation.
I don't think we get how we feel about each other at all. We're all
I do.
Do you? How do you feel about us?
I feel that you afford me a certain amount of comfort in feeling understood and relatable, which is why I'd have to say my FI took a hit during the little. I don't know about it because I was like, hell yeah, this dude understands me. And maybe if I was doing any of the things that I thought could have been like any of the things that were shady,
like coming in and screaming at light bulb for no reason, bunch of fucking profanities.
That was, but see that was way prior.
Okay, but the point is, Nick, I try to point out that
No,
I don't want to go
I mean,
back to talk about that shit anymore. Will you
I'm not
stop?
saying you don't have reasons.
All right, but look, we're talking about how we feel about each other. Neptune, we're talking about how we feel about each other, okay? And my point is, I don't know how I feel about you guys really, except for the following thing. It'll hit me periodically. Like, oh my God, I'm still doing this thing. And I'll realize how much I value
Being loved.
yeah, how much I value being alone, and how much I value individuals, eventually is the last thing to hit me. That I have preferences between individuals. Because I do have preferences between individuals. I do like hanging out with some people more than others. And I do like talking to some people more than others. And I don't, I assume that's not the case as a default. That it doesn't really matter who it is because it's all about me anyway, really, is what it boils down to, you know. But actually, I do value others a lot. And I just have to remember to pay attention to it. And I've been trying to practice a little bit more the actively trying to like people. Like, for example, just sit here while you're talking. And now I'm going to do it this time, too. I'm going to sit there and go, I like this person. This person's cool. I say that kind of shit to myself and see if I can get that feeling to come in my chest. We'll see.
Do you find that you assess the negative preferences easier than the positive ones?
Yes.
Not me. Maybe that's my downfall. I'm the opposite.
I'm much more likely to know who I find annoying than who I actually like to talk to properly, I think.
Me too.
Taylor was talking to my aunt the other day about me, and he was saying, Nick can talk to a stupid person for hours. You and I will be like, no, this person's stupid. I don't want to talk to them. And it's
I want to address this thing Neptune says liking people is a meditative exercise for you, Eric. How insulting. Well, I mean, the thing is, I think what you mean by liking. I like people a lot, obviously. I like talking with people. It provides me a great sense of satisfaction to have conversations. And sometimes I have, like, fairly deep conversations, especially if I have one on ones. And I kind of like the idea of doing those assessments one on one, even not on camera, because I discovered today, oh, I kind of like the idea of digging into somebody and trying to understand them better and feel them, you know? That's cool. And, but the actual act of feeling the introverted feeling of valuing another person in and of themselves for their own purposes is something I don't do a lot of. When I do experience it, it it I note it.
I don't know. Oh
You
yeah,
ever been to a walk-in freezer?
can you do that sometime, Neptune?
No kidding.
Please. Why can't you?
What can I do?
Because he's a crow.
Why don't you go on the camera or a microphone at least? The thing is, do you feel like you value people more easily than we value people, Neptune? Because I don't know. I value everybody in this room, but I don't necessarily experience a lot of introverted feelings most of the time. It's like I'm not actually experiencing that physical sensation of I
Moisture.
like you. You know, it's if I'm talking about abstract shit, I'm probably not. I kind of gotta seek it, try to settle into it, and then I'll start to experience it a bit.
I mean, when someone that I'm fond of enters the room, whether I've consciously thought of of them in terms of fondness, I can feel like the energy changing, mostly my energy. So, yeah, I base it on that. If I feel like I'm being energized from them, then I know I like them. If I find them draining, I don't like them.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. That's super good way of putting it. If you perk up, I perk up. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, when people are in here that I actually enjoy, I like don't even have to think about it. I just already know that I feel better. And then when I come in here and it's a bunch of people I don't like, I'm like, why am I even in here? Bye.
You know who I perk up for? Waits McGee.
Me too. I get a similar feeling. Yeah.
He's a fun guy. He's funny. I like him. He's like color commentary. Hi, she.
Hey guys,
How's it going?
good.
What we are talking about right now is feelings and feeling them with our feelings. Yeah, I know. We talk about feelings a lot. We're actually talking earlier about, more specifically, how the four ENTPs in the room, I was saying, I value them, but normally feel the warmth of friendship in my heart in any physical capacity, really. It's just sort of something I know. I know I value people sometimes because I seek them out. I want to tell them things, and I think they're willing to listen. And like I often want, if I think I do something cool, extra cool, I'll send Taylor one because I'm like, well, I want to see what Taylor has to say about this one because I think it's extra cool. You should watch the Norway one, Taylor. If you haven't watched it, I think that's actually pretty good.
It is good.
Oh, you watched it? Okay, cool. Thanks. But the point is, that's an indicator for me. I can see my behavior, and I do sometimes feel physical feelings. But by and large, I'm what do you call it?
Are you sure that physical feelings is the right way? I mean, is that accurate?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure. It it's like it's like fighting but without the fight. You get that
Gee,
rush,
is that
little flutter. The FI feels. CJ, you can't figure out how to log in from desktop. I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, so you think she's an ENFP?
Who?
Mhm.
What's up?
Okay.
Audra says gets FI feels from children and babies. Well, I get FI feels from children and babies too, and from kitty cats. I have what do you call it? Kittens. We've got some really good comments here. This one says dicks, and then this one says penises, and then this one says badges. So it's that kind of mature discourse and fancy talk that we have around here to make sure.
We're all thinking it.
Beautiful.
We're all thinking it.
Yeah, we are. I'm sure.
Thinking,
While we're talking,
Time.
we talk a lot about FI in relation to people. Can FI? What about FI in relation to not beings?
When you guys are talking about FI, are you just meaning like feelings? Because
you don't know.
I don't know.
I think I know though. That's the thing. I keep saying I know what it is now. It's a thing that happens in your chest. If it's a positive feeling,
that's FI.
that's FI. Yeah.
Later he starts getting heartburn medicine. He's like, oh fuck, I had acid reflux this whole time.
No, it's like that fluttery thing and this warm feeling in the chest, and it's like, oh, it's that. That's what it is. It's FI.
That's it.
Yeah. FI is.
We are
Aw.
competent as shit at this.
Because that's like the closest. Because I'm always trying to think of that, and the closest thing I can figure out doesn't have anything to do with people.
Okay.
Nick will
well,
appreciate this. It's actually like winning stuff, but yeah,
All right. Think about this. If
very
you're really
specially
fucking
like
hate being
framed
somewhere,
accomplishment.
you gotta
What?
be like, think about yourself as some like paperwork thing. You hate being there, and you just freaking hate it, and you just don't want to be there. You have to. Instead of thinking about what we tend to think about is all the ways we can either get out of it or why it's so fucked up and how we could yell at them and various things like that. Instead, if we were to take our attention and focus on our body, we'd be aware that there's something happening in our body that's a physical sensation. That's a feeling. That's an emotion.
I think I know angry FI better than other FI.
conversation with the diagnosis for any of us?
What about like when people look at like ISFPs are interesting to look at for this, like how they can look at foliage and greenery and just cool plants and stuff and get motions from it, or like clouds. I can't do that.
Yeah, well, you could, but you discover that there's just nothing else there to it, right? So it's like when I talk to a home girl and she says, I like sailing. And I said, oh, well, why do you like sailing? And she says, I like to see the wind fill the sail. And I like to see the lines on the water when the wind blows. It's beautiful. Well, those aren't reasons to like something. Those are descriptions of what your eyes are looking at. You know? But because what she's describing is, and she's going sailing, she's experiencing the positive feelings of being where she wants to be, doing what she wants to do. That is not something ENTPs know well. Let me see what this is before.
Yeah, the being where you want to be and doing stuff you wanted, like situational, like everything came together. Like I can think of a couple of times.
All right, so let me ask: do you guys think ENTPs?
I thought he said sailing too.
What?
I did say sailing.
Weren't we talking about sailing?
Maybe she likes singing. Maybe she likes collagen. I don't know. People like weird shit.
I'm not
Hey,
talking about salty moisture. I'm talking about
I was gonna say if
for a
it's
sail on the
oceanic
bay.
sailing, then she probably likes both.
Probably, that's true. There's a lot of sailing when you're sailing. You sail on sailing. So,
Sailing on the sailing.
No, but our homeboy here asks, do you guys think ENFPs and ENTPs are really that different in your experience? I have many ENFP friends or TP, and only with one of them is it ever obvious where logic and values clash. Okay, so are you an ENFP, Blue Circle? Thank you for saying you love my videos. Appreciate that. No, you're ENFP.
Are you the frozen face ENFP that was in here a couple of days ago?
Well, my take on ENFPs is, first of all, it depends on how they got educated. Because when I say anything about ENFPs, I always qualify it with the fact that my policy debate coach, not this year but last year, I wish I had hired Justin instead of Felix, frankly. But Justin wasn't doing a great job anyway. But anyway, Justin, he's an ENFP, and he was a great policy debate coach and a great debater and really smart, really good at the logical parsing stuff. But he learned it as part of a game, and he doesn't seem to apply TI as a general rule to making decisions about stuff in his life. He's good at debating because he's learned argumentation as bullets that he fires in a round. But when I talk to ENFPs who haven't had that kind of rhetorical experience or debate experience, I often find that they have trouble understanding why they don't like wrongness as a category, as a designation, and they think that they go with their possibilities and their feelings to say, well, it's too final to declare that side right and that side wrong in this. We have to keep open the possibility. Their sides are valid. They both have validity because they're both equally valid human agents, and so we can find ways to argue both sides. Yeah, I don't personally feel that way. I feel as though it's pretty cut and dry usually, and one side's right and one side's wrong. When brought over into TI town and said, okay, well, here's why I think it's right and wrong, and you have answers to these things. And generally, ENFPs don't. They'd like to defer to agreeing to disagreeing, which is not something that ENTPs normally are comfortable with. We like to agree to disagree actively, right? Let's agree. Right now, you and I are going to disagree a whole bunch. Like that we like to agree to disagree. We don't like to just leave it be. So
It's a
there's that.
continuous verb. Let's agree to disagree to continue disagreeing.
Right. I will say this, so ENFP Nefertiti, she comes around occasionally. She and I, well, if you were just hearing us chat about art stuff or whatever, would display very similarly. Obviously, she's a chick and I'm a dude, but we display as similar in our verbal patterns, like talking too much, blah blah blah, and then go. I picked that up from her. She has I heard you that one time. She puts her hand over her own mouth because she's trying to contain herself from talking too much, like I am right now. Thoughts, she? Let's get your voice in here. Put she on the spot. That's a problem. You don't put people on the spot, Eric, or else they're gonna hate you.
On the spot. Look at her. Everybody stare at her. 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 Stare at her.
Audra, you got thoughts on this? And then I'm gonna go Nick.
About ENFPs and ENTPs being
Yeah.
different?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're different, but they get along. I did something interesting a couple of days ago. Like I went, I've been theorizing about like typing people off of their spaces. Like at work, I get to go in people's offices and stuff. And I walked in an office to work on stuff, and I just kind of found myself staring at the bookshelves, and I went, "This is an ENFP office." And the organizational structure was very similar to like mine, but the content was notably different. The aesthetic was totally different. Yeah, it's like this. The geometry of the place was similar, but the content was,
I can totally understand, imagine, and appreciate what you said.
Yeah, it was lots of little knickknacks and stuff, but they were all, I don't know. I mean, spiritual isn't the right word, but it was all very
Sentimental.
You could tell there was sort of emotional kind of aesthetic to it.
Sentimental attachment.
Yeah, well,
Or
but the sentiment was tied to like FI, where like my sentiment is tied. It's more to, I don't know, accomplishment or something else. Like it's very different. Mine's probably more FE. Like I put stuff in my office and I'm like, oh, this makes me happy, but it also communicates something to someone else.
CJ asks if how you think how TE influences TE in the tertiary position influences things. Well, I mean, I think that's the role bunk. I mean, that's the hidden agenda. So it means ENFP wants to get things accomplished first and foremost. Wants to get shit done. ENFP has trouble getting shit done, probably more than ENFP in that regard.
Doesn't know how to get there, but really wants to get it done. It's my experience.
ENFP?
Yeah. They call me and they go, "Can we do this thing?" And I go, "Yeah, give me a minute and I'll figure out how to do that thing."
Well, I think they probably get better at it as they get older. My FE has gotten better. The thing is, I think I kind of may have had poor FE for a younger ENTP. The younger ENTPs I meet around here generally have much better FE than I do. I mean, at least for when I was their age, you know. Well,
how do you determine if somebody has good FE besides somebody who's younger and like it's noticeable for never mind.
Well, it's a matter of how successfully are you consistently being engaged with and taken seriously one way or another. It's not necessarily always going to be positive engagements, but if you're bad FE, people aren't telling you and they're not coming back. This is bad FE. But not that bad. I shouldn't eat while I'm doing this, but then again, it's bread.
But you're not really motivated to, like perfect FE right now.
You know who has the best FE right now?
Who?
Taylor.
No, I don't think he's not. I mean, he's reinforcing his stoic overseer thing, but he's not really making any hay per se.
Stoic overseer thing. I don't.
You are not that, Nick, for sure.
Oh, hell no.
I mean, I think Audra's got quite good FE. At first, I thought she had kind of questionable FE. I was wrong.
It's around when I need it. I would say that I have gotten better at it. Notably in the last probably few
We
years.
should have, in this wiki, we should have.
I think what I did is I noticed that it was there and that I could be good at it. Or something like that. It's like, oh, I can use this. I didn't realize I was good at this. Okay.
ENFPs have good FE. You probably have less to concern yourself as far as FE than an ENTP because it has to do with that FI thing where they're just a lot more empathetic naturally than we are. How about you, G? Tell us about FE. Is FE your friend?
Yeah, just talking at the chat. Like, I would agree that FE can be tiring to like produce, especially if you're kind of having to like be the main FE around. That's super tiring.
I think ENFPs can look like they have better FE than they do because their FI being tied with any.
The tricky thing is their TI in the 7th because that's why they get a reputation for being flighty. They don't get consistency at all. They're not going to prioritize consistency in anything. So for an ENFP to go, oh, I know I want to do this. I'm gonna commit to this thing here, and then a couple weeks later they go, I don't want to do that. I'm gonna uncommit to it. I gotta commit to this thing over here. ENTPs learn from those experiences to not commit because we don't like the inconsistency. ENFPs understand each of those things is a unique situation with a unique set of feelings, a unique set of people, and so you can't really conclude anything about it except for the fact that it just wasn't right, and so I had to leave that thing, and now I got to do this other thing now, and I'm just as committed to this one, and I believe this time's different. I'm going to do that for years because it's always a unique set of feelings, a unique set of people, and blah blah blah. FI poir. Having poir. How much poir or whatever? Oh, polar. That is POIR. Having polar TI or FI equals flighty. No. I think NE dominant equals flighty. But it is notable, of course, that you're going to have one of those two judging functions as a polar. I think the TI part means they're inconsistent, which is a little different than flighty. I might be flighty, but I'm reliable about important things or things that are commitments. I think ENFPs don't understand their own limitations when it comes to making commitments, so are more likely to be unreliable in commitments. But I think they're more reliable in some sense than they're more reliable. Well, definitely more reliable in their judgments than the ENTPs in terms of what they want and shit. If you ask ENFP what they want, they probably have a good answer for you. I asked that question at the outset of this stream, and all of us ENTPs just kind of looked at each other like, what do I want? What do I like? Can I tell you what I don't like? I think that's what Audra said, basically. I can come up with things I don't like.
And we all kind of get back and we're like, well, I'm hungry.
Right. I don't like the fact that my ass itches. So, yeah.
Don't break a finger.
I have to loosen my belt. It's too tight. There, and that's better. So, what do you value? Value pants? Value McGee at ENFP? What do you like? What do you want? What do you think is
Tell me
good?
what you want, what you really want.
Tell us about feelings. Feel our moistures together. Together, you, me, and our moistures are gonna have a great time. Shh. She, you bring some moistures. Spread some moistures around.
What do you want me to talk about?
How? Well, the question that was hard for ENTP to answer is, what do you want? What do you like? In life, in general, big picture.
Oh gosh, where do I even start? Well, what do I want out of life?
Yeah, in life, what do you want in general in life that you don't currently have? Or how do you know when you go, yes, I've achieved what I want?
I want. It's gonna sound so lame. I want, like enjoyment out of, doing like things that like normal people do. You know.
You want to get pleasure out of going to the post office?
Well, yeah, just like, or at least not be like, not hate it so much. You
Oh
know.
my god, I love it here. This line is my favorite line to stand in. Like that?
Don't you just love the aesthetic, like organization of the post office boxes? I mean,
Having.
geometry is just amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I would like the ability to maybe like have and keep friends, but
I'll be your friend,
but I'm really lazy and I don't really like one-on-one talk too much. It's like I get really nervous.
I'm an
So that's
easy
what-
friend.
What?
So you can be my friend. I'm an easy friend.
Okay, thank you,
All
Aaron.
you gotta do is send me a Facebook message and say, I feel bad, and I'll say, aw, here's a sticker. And I'll send you a sticker.
Oh, that's so much work.
It's that simple to solve all your problems, basically.
Is that how it works? Is that how friends work? Like, hey, I'm feeling bad.
Yep.
And then
And I shoot you a sticker. One of those little cute little cats with a smiley hang
You
in
think-
there. Something like that.
Do you think technology has brought us, since it has brought us the ability to respond to things like that, this picture, has actually increased our like emotional responsibility?
Yes, I do. I actually feel more emotionally connected to people because of stickers on the internet. When somebody sends
Really?
me a smiley face, I go, oh, I get it. I understand better. You know. So it sounds like you're saying what you want is X, but you also say what you want is to be lazy and not do it. So how do
wait,
you-
your mic started breaking up.
I think it's you.
Yeah, maybe. Hang on.
Everybody needs a little time away. Just for a day.
It is your mic.
Is it?
Robot Eric.
Okay. Is my mic loud? Can you hear like the fan on my computer?
Yeah, it's super loud.
Although you very
God.
heart emoji. I can't do that. I can do smiley faces. That's as nice as I get in emoji.